Alright, so I asked Twitter what game to play, and by a whopping 2 votes, this game won. So I'm gonna try a bit of Yooka Laylee. I didn't play the first one, it was on Game Pass for like a year, and I had it downloaded and then it just eventually left Game Pass and I just never heard anything super good. No, I didn't make a poll, I just asked people what they wanted me to play. If I'd gotten more people to respond, then I would have made a poll, but everyone suggested something different, except this got 2 suggestions, so I went with this. But yeah, with the actual ukulele game, I heard pretty middling things. Like, the people who really liked it usually ended up saying something along the lines of like, no, you understand, platformers are supposed to be bad. That's the appeal of them. So I just wasn't really rushing to try it, but I heard really positive things about this, which surprised me. Because I honestly expected this IP to die, because apparently Ukulele didn't set the world on fire like they were hoping. But yeah, so I know a little bit about this game. I know that the basic premise is that the lair is impossible, but the idea is you then go and play normal level in order to make the impossible lair more possible. And as far as I know, it's a Breath of the Wild situation where you can technically beat it right away. It's just very, very difficult and probably not fun to do. But yeah, I mean, so the other thing I know is that this is apparently kind of like Donkey Kong, the old Donkey Kong games by Rare. And honestly, those games never super gelled with me. Like I played I played all of them to some extent, but the one I played the most of was probably the Wii game. But something about the movement and the way you land enemies just didn't really sit right with me. Oh yeah, wait, I forgot to actually tell people to come look at my stream. Whoops. But yeah, so I'm definitely not rolling in ukulele lore. I don't know. This is a follow up because they say that, well, yeah, for some reason the entire world can be bee themed because there's a princess or something named Phoebe, and I already forget what the bad guy's name, but it has a bee in it too. Look at that twink, so cute. I you just like it because it looks like Espio. And you like him because he looks like Espio. That's just the long and short of it. I don't make the rules. But yeah, I've already forgotten what I said, so I'm not sure if I mentioned that this is a Game Pass game. Uh, the idea behind my poll was to get people to suggest something on Game Pass for me to play. One day I want to get together a list of all the games I have and just have that be what people pull from, but for the time being, Game Pass is curated for me, so I can just send that. Oh, I guess it's not voice acted. It has those Banjo Kazooie mumbles. I wonder if I should be narrating. Man, you can tell this is a game made by British people. The Dynamic Duo. Capital B, that's the name. That is... that sure is a name. Yeah, I mean, they did capture that 90s pre-rendered CG aesthetic, I guess. The Royal Stingdom. Well, at least I've got wordplay going for one specific theme, at least. Hello, The Sweet. You think this is a great 2D platformer? That's good to hear. And yeah, it does seem like they're getting to the point where they're just giving it out. Like, I think it was on some other thing as well. Like, there's so many things nowadays where you can subscribe to get games. I think it was Humble Choice, but I can't keep track. Right, Yooka is the lizard and Laylee is the bat, I'm assuming. And if so, does that mean that Laylee is like Australian or like British or something? For that matter, are Banjo and Kazooie British? Like, is that how you're meant to be reading their voices? So it was on Epic Game Store, Game Pass, and they sent a PS4 code to everyone on the PR list. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I guess if Yooka Laylee is as mediocre as people have said, and then this is that much of an improvement, they do need to just get the word out so people can know that they're not like a lost cause or whatever. Oh yeah, so I'm also assuming that this game has like unnecessarily transcendent music because I'm pretty sure David Wise and Grant Kirkhope made the music, so there's that. Alright. Well, this sure is platforming 101 so far. Oh, that's weird. I'm used to you sliding down ropes when you jump onto them. Yeah, no, like there's like this slow guitar solo playing. I'm not sure how well you guys can hear it. Kazooie must be British? And Grant only did the overworld theme. Oh, so is it all David Wise or is there a different composer? Guys, I mean, no offense to Grant. I feel like David Wise's music is like especially good. Right, better than Tropical Freeze. I heard really good things about Tropical Freeze. Oh, it's like a really bad spin dash. Like, Tropical Freeze is one of those things where it's like, Nintendo games are too expensive and I just can't justify actually buying it. But the people I've spoken to have said like, oh yeah, no, it's way better than Donkey Kong Country Returns. It has way more of an identity. Rest in peace to Playtonic's in-house composer. If they're making really good music and they don't even get a name. I'll try and keep an eye out for them in the credits, I guess, if I do beat this someday. Oh, I bashed Boris. Man, this is unapologetically British. And like, really, they should be apologizing. Ooh, actually, this roll, like, this is explicitly a Donkey Kong roll, but I think it feels better. I always find something a little bit awkward about the way that you roll in the original Donkey Kong Country, at least. That's the one I remember most. There we go. Yeah, I have seen like pictures of unique looking levels, like where everything's in silhouette and stuff like that. But I mean, if it plays better, it plays better. That's way more important for a platformer. Man, so is the other game full of bee puns too? Like, how do they have that many? 48 bees to collect, each with their own bee pun name. Well, that makes sense because like there's I think what 50 boos in Luigi's Mansion, and they all have boo names. That like bee in itself is pretty simple because it's just a letter. It really just be like that? Yeah, fair. Wow, these poor bees. They're gonna take the hits. Hello, Android Peach. Yooka Laylee. I agree. So they totally don't even have... oh, wow. They totally don't even have, like, consistent Banjo-Kazooie nonsense noise. Oh, it got the Mario Galaxy spin, too. That's nice. Yeah, that's fair. I did cheat. Yeah, like it's got the thing, but then it only goes on for like a half second. It's not the whole sentence. Oh, so is the premise? Yeah, I think I remember this now. The idea is that each time you beat a level, you get one of these bees, and then that makes you get an extra hit in the dungeon. Yeah, it could get pretty annoying, but it is also, like, if you're gonna rip off Banjo-Kazooie, you kind of just have to take that with it. It'd probably be better to just actually have voice acting, but that's not in everyone's budget. Wish I could remember, I can't remember who it was that everyone was talking about on Twitter, if it was people that made Kiseki or whatever, but there was some really tiny RPG studio that like dubs everything. It's like, oh man, yeah, we don't have money like them. All right, so now I'm gonna get owned super easily, or what? Catch Laylee before she flies away. Oh no. I assume that Laylee doesn't have any like propeller jump stuff like Dixie Kong does, but do you lose your spin and stuff? Screams in Yoshi's Island. Yeah, it's like when Baby Mario gets knocked off, but instead Laylee just curses at you in British. All right. Seems like boss fight 101. Oh. All right. I think that was a boss fight. It's tough to say. Yeah, it wasn't Nisa, I don't think. It was some... There was at least, like, words in the name. Oh. Okay. Uh-oh. Man, the platforming is a lot more demanding than the boss fight is. It's when you release a Vita game in 2020. I mean, there's a couple of Vita... Hey, actually, for that matter, there was a Vita game released in 2020 that did really well. It's called Persona 4 Golden. All you have to do is release a really, really popular one. Oh yeah, also, hello, Tilger. So this must be the Grant Kirkhope song. Under 2.9k sales. That's even worse than Klonoa for the Wii. Klonoa sold 5,000 and that was a disaster. Oh, at least they said Impossible Lair. Everyone loves it when you drop the title of your game right at the start. So what's the premise of Yooka Laylee? Like, what's the deal with this book? Does anyone know? Is anyone deep into the Yooka Laylee lore? So if this was an authentic Banjo-Kazooie ripoff, this would be the point where the Queen Bee just gets crushed by one of these books. Alright, so the basic idea then, I guess, is just that you're collecting hit points. Like, I hope I feel like there's someone who talked about this game, but this is back when it was new, but there was something to talk about that was neat, but I totally forget what. I think it was something to do with, like, How do levels change? I can't remember though. Oh, that's neat. Cool that you can impact stuff. Like, yeah, I feel like I was thinking about this randomly the other day. How there's a lot of genres that people just kind of decided are dead, like just arbitrarily. Like RPGs are a big one that I care about because it's like, oh yeah, no, Final Fantasy X was one of the biggest games ever. Anyways, RPGs are dead. We need to turn them into action games. Otherwise, no one will ever want to play one. But the same thing happened with platformers, where like a lot of it was just trend chasing stuff. Where it's like, okay, we need to add like gunplay and vehicles and stuff to our platformers. Otherwise, no one will want them. And then people didn't like that, so they're like, oh no, I guess people just don't like platformers. Weird. Because like, there's just so few major platformers anymore now. Because, yeah, just arbitrarily it was decided that you shouldn't make them, even though kids are obviously a gigantic demographic. And right now it's kind of just cornered by like Lego games. That's all it is that you really... Oh, so this is how you get another Laylee, I guess. Like, there aren't that many major platformers except for Mario. Because even when people try, like, it just doesn't get the same level of attention. I feel like I'm very unfocused. I'm trying to like grapple with these tutorials while also explaining my thoughts on platformers. I think. Okay. That's not the ukulele ability I was expecting, honestly. Oh, I should have thrown it up there, darn it. Oh well. I assume that these wooden metal boxes mean something different, but I'm sure they'll tell me in good time. Yeah, because like, there's almost definitely a Spyro game coming now, and obviously the new Crash game just released, which people seemed really positive on at first, but then kind of started souring over time. Apparently the game's not good when you try and 100% it, which is seemingly a really big deal with Crash games in particular. Yeah, no, it is ultimately down to the fact that execs just aren't human and don't understand people at all. They're just trying to approximate what they assume humanity is like. They're just trying to guessing. Nope. Oh, wait. Ooh. I'm sure these things I'm collecting are very important. Crash 4 is unfocused? Yeah, that makes sense. Like, that is ultimately the problem, is that when you let these things sit too long, you end up getting other people to make it. And you're always going to start getting different perceptions of how those games are supposed to be. Especially because, like, a lot of people who are fans of things think they're also good enough to design those things. And that's just really, really not the case. And if you're too into something, you can end up hyper-fixating on stuff too that doesn't really necessarily relate to something that everyone's going to care about. Like, you can always see this in a really big way with Sonic stuff, where people are just super indecisive on what matters to the Sonic franchise and like what, like people always say, oh, fans can just fix Sonic, but that doesn't extend to them actually like having a concrete plan. It's just down to the fact that they don't like the way things are now. Crash 4 has performance issues? I mean, I'd expect at least on the Switch it does. Oh, these go away fast, jeez. A buddy slam with A plus LB. That's a weird combo. Man, wish this game had just a little bit better of an aesthetic. It's just super not memorable to me. You hit the snail. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, I gotta remember that I have the tongue ability. Alright. Yeah, there's all these different colored feathers, and I just don't exactly know the difference between all of them yet. They're all pretty intuitive, but it's just weird that there's so many similar looking things. Alright, so I only missed one coin. Now, this is actually a really old take of mine, but I kind of feel like the new age of collectathon is just open world games. Like things like Assassin's Creed and stuff. They have the same kind of thing where there's tons of random odds and ends to get with not a ton of actual reward, but you want to get them because you want to get them. The aesthetic is better in later levels. I mean more like the enemies and stuff. Buzzerland, nice. Like this, the character designs are super weak, I think. Well, maybe super weak's a bit strong. Like, it's just... it doesn't... You know that feeling where you can tell when something is, like, a really, like, a major player? Like, just by the design, you can tell which platformer mascots were the Mario competitors and which ones were the Mario knockoffs. Like, that's what the vibe I'm going for, I think. Well, yeah, so collectathons are usually platformers, at least at the time, if you go with the argument that they're separate things. But they're still always about rewarding you with some specific thing, like abilities or a level or even literally just an achievement sometimes. A tweet asking what someone would make a Sonic game like if they had control over development. I mean, that's still a fun, like, thing to think about. Like, I feel like there's a lot of valid directions you can go with not just Sonic, but most franchises. Like, if I had control over Mario, I'd make Mario Odyssey again, but better, because instead of being bad, I would make it good. That's my strategy. But, like, yeah, no, I would do stuff insane that would be way off brand for Nintendo, like acknowledging Mario RPGs. You want to write about the difference between collectathons and open world? I guess just games in general. You should totally do that then. I highly encourage everyone to do any ideas you have. Don't just think about them. Just go out and do it. Hello, Most. I totally would like a Yakuza Team Sonic game would be amazing. Like, it could be the most non-Sonic thing possible, and it would be so cool because there's so much passion behind all the Yakuza games. Like, that is the ultimate. I think most people who at least are being sincere can say that the thing that's missing from Sonic now is passion. Because people have moved, a lot of people at least, people who aren't stuck in the 2000s have moved past the, did you know there was a game called Sonic 06 and it wasn't good? It had glitches. And like that being the entire identity to it. Now people are definitely a lot more open to the idea of, oh man, remember Sonic Adventure 2? Remember how they played Live and Learn? And it was like very messy, but a very sincere game. That was fun. We should bring that back. Hello, Pansy Zombie. Yeah, no, passion is like the core of Sonic. There isn't a whole lot that's common between each Sonic game because they change things up almost every single time. But I think, like honestly, you can look at the music of Sonic to see the core of what Sonic is because it's always super passionate and sincere. Even the games that aren't very sincere now, like Sonic Colors, Sonic Lost World, Sonic Forces, if you listen to the actual music that goes along with it, it's not like cartoon clown honks or whatever. It's still like epic orchestra and rock and techno and stuff. Like it's still very sincere, and it's the stuff that people latch on to the most for a good reason. There we go. And what's this? Nothing? Huh? Did I miss what this is supposed to be? Oh, okay. I went the wrong way this whole time. I know what it is. I've always liked these little, like, weird little mini maps that are kind of like kind of play like the game, but kind of don't. I can't remember off the top of my head any games that also have these, but I know that quite a few platformers do them. Like, I guess Mario 3D World does, but I don't know if that really counts. You can say sequence break on the overworld. Oh yeah, no, not being a fan of this is, I think, pretty valid, because honestly, it kind of looks like filler. Like, you can't actually jump, so it's not real platforming. But I guess it's key to the premise of the actual game. Oh yeah, the collectibles in the original Yooka Laylee were pages, weren't they? Oh no, it's trouser. I guess that's bad. It is British, so that I mean, it's bad by default, but... Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, the whole thing around the Sonic, I mean, Sonic Boom as a franchise is cursed. Like, that, I feel like that was dead on arrival, even though it lasted like a couple years. If you missed the start of the stream, there's not much more to this premise. It's literally just the bad guy from the first game is back, and his final level is impossibly hard. So now you have to collect bees that will be your hit points. And right now I only have one hit point because I beat one level. Yeah, you can see a very clear downgrade between the first version of Sonic Boom they showed and the Wii U version. That Nintendo exclusivity deal murdered Sonic. Like, it's weird that, like, not many people talk about it, but there used to be a pretty good variety of Sonic games. Like, you would get the DS version of Colors to go with Colors, that kind of thing. There was a 3DS version of Lost World. It sucked, but it was there. And you know, there used to be the Sonic Rush games, Sonic Advance, and yeah, now it's like you get one major Sonic game every couple years, and it's not major anymore either. Like, the budget of Sonic Forces is clearly less than Sonic and the Black Knight. And that's the thing, you don't get Sonic and Black Knight anymore. You just get Sonic Forces in like a mobile game. Yeah, the game seems kind of cute so far. Oh, I mean, it's not much of a headcanon to say that a human Sonic would be a sporty type, because he's already a sporty type. Like, you can see him doing stretches and stuff at the start of levels and such, or in his idle animations. The sports tape was just really badly implemented, honestly. Like, you know, it's such a meme that where it's like, oh, Sonic and his blue arms and stuff, but the blue arms are genuinely a bad color choice because they blend in with the rest of his body. When they're tan, they're a contrast because tan is a shade of yellow, and yellow is a direct contrast to blue. That's why Super Sonic is yellow. But yeah, like, there's, like, Sonic has a neckerchief, and that should be good. Give 1 twit coin. Oh. But, like, they've screwed that up because the obvious choice for an accessory on Sonic, especially a scarf or something, would be to make it red, but they made it this dingy brown instead. Like, and then the sports tape is just these awkward white accents randomly pointed on characters. Sometimes it's a white accent on white because they put it on gloves. Like, it's just very haphazard. And if you look at the other designs, like, they go really far off. But maybe that's what they should have done. They should have just made basically new characters that look kind of like Sonic characters. So, at first I thought that these were like the Donkey Kong letters, but it looks like they actually function more like star coins in New Super Mario Bros. And stuff. Oh, that's big. You know what I miss? Games, like actual adventure games with maps like this. Like, this is making me think about Zelda Minish Caps. Zelda Minish Caps. I love that game. That has a nice compact overworld full of stuff to find. And I feel like that kind of thing just doesn't get made anymore because, like, the last vestiges of it were, I guess, the 3DS, but even that, I feel like it was already basically dead. Yeah, first and foremost, the Boom designs just kind of do feel weird. I think that the designs for Tails and Amy are fine. Like, Amy has always been a weird one because she already has tons of different outfits anyways, but it also just, it modernized it a bit because that dress is very old school and it doesn't really necessarily fit super well, I don't think. And then Tails, I just like the idea of him having, like, goggles or whatever else, like that kind of stuff. I did it. I avoided Spike. Oh. I was kind of expecting more. Oh well. Yeah, the A boom design's honestly probably the strongest one, but it's also not much of a change. Yeah, the Tails one kind of reminds me of the older version of Tails that was in the Archie comics, which is a design I liked. But like, you know, then you start getting to stuff like they would start just barely changing characters because they realize, oh, Sonic characters are absurdly iconic, and Sega has basically never had like a bad mainline design unless they deviated from the system they had in place, like the Zeddy in Sonic Lost World. Because, you know, like Infinite's a like 10 out of 10 design. I don't know who else have they made recently. Like every like character that fits in with the Sonic universe is at least like an 8, I'd say. Everyone loves Blaze. I assume people like Jet the Hawk. I don't know. Boom Eggman is neat, but honestly, I think it's a design that would be better suited to an actual, like, threatening version of Eggman, because he kind of has, like, a... the word is escaping me, but... not Imperial, but, like, he has, like, a look to him, like... not a general... What's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, no, Styx is fine, too, and it's an original design, like... It's genuinely just that they tried to fix what wasn't broken. Like, I think the worst design is definitely Boom Knuckles. And, like, if you look at the designs, they clearly felt that too, because the design got better. It used to be really stupid and, like, overblown. And the idea behind it too was like, oh, well, how will people know that Knuckles is strong if he doesn't have big muscles? And it's like, man, that's so stupid. Like, kids aren't that dumb. Kids have accepted that Knuckles is strong for a long time because he has knuckles. And he breaks rocks when you run into him. When you run into them. Like, that's all you need. Like, he doesn't have to be super buff. But I feel it's kind of like a Western thing, because something I was actually thinking about, because I spent a lot of the day drawing well, a variant of Tifa's victory pose as some fan art from a friend of mine. And I was thinking about how with Final Fantasy VII Remake, there are people hoping that they would make Tifa super buff. Because, you know, she's supposed to be really strong. So make her strong, people know that. And also just because, you know, people have that a certain fetish. They want buff Tifa for their own reasons. But the thing is that martial artists and such, especially if you're playing a JRPG or something, a lot of times doesn't necessarily come down to just they are very strong. It's usually technique in Japanese media. It's usually like, this person learned how to do this, so now their punches can break through steel or something like that. It's not like just a pure matter of being super unga bunga strong. But yeah, with Western stuff, it seems like you have to be more literal. And there's lots of different stuff with different societies and stuff. Like, something I thought about for a long time is how in the United States, a lot of cartoons and stuff emphasize ugliness. Like, you'll see a lot of old cartoons, especially when they could really get away with it. They have those super gross close-up shots. Like SpongeBob would have those like paintings where it's just like horrifyingly ugly, that kind of thing. And then like British stuff, there's a thing they like to do where they'll like do I have to let go of this to do a stomp? Oh, I don't have a buddy. That's I don't like losing abilities from taking damage. I think that only works in like the original Mario with a fire flower. But anyway, a really common thing you'll see in British media is stuff like super exaggerated noses. The thing that I grew up with is Asterix and Tintin. Those are two different comics. Tintin in particular has some stuff that may not have aged super well. You might have seen it. But yeah, those in particular, there's a thing where if a character is meant to be like jolly and wow, you don't have many iframes, jolly and friendly, then they'll have a really like bloated, bulbous nose to show you that they're supposed to be a nice person. Yeah, but yeah, no, like, and I'm sure if I knew more about other cultures and stuff, I'd be able to point out some more specific details too. But with my limited knowledge, I'd just probably start feeling racist, even if I wasn't being. Right, do I have to like lick this or what? There we go. So what do I do? Yeah, the spikes on the fist, though, yeah, that's the very... They go all the way back to that. Knuckles having spikes is, like, it can be that simple, but a character doesn't even have to... Like, Sonic is pretty often shown being super strong just because. Like, they're, like, in things like Sonic X, for example, they'll show, like, Sonic fighting Shadow or Knuckles or something and just punching someone and, like, smashing something to bits just because he's the protagonist and he has to be that strong. Wait, should I have gone through that door? This level's kind of looking the same to me, but... Yeah, there's some universal visual language, but then there's also stuff that's culture specific. Whoa, jeez. Yooka looks like he's gonna choke on some stuff. Yeah, well, he's a gecko, I think. They could probably have changed the music for this bit. Made it a bit more intense, maybe? Yeah, it is pretty cool that the person that wrote about, who coined the term "nipples the enchilada," which ended up being a very big part of Knuckles' identity within the internet, at least, went on to make actual official Sonic content. And like, you know, people like to say that like it's a specifically Sonic thing, but it's actually like pretty common for fans of stuff to end up making media for something. Like, you know, like there's obviously tons of fans who are, for example, who worked on Spider-Verse. With, like, you know, they've got all kinds of references and memes and stuff like that in there. Like, I'd say it's a pretty universal dream for most people, even people who aren't necessarily into creating media. To work on something that they grew up with or are passionate about. Like, I feel like most people, even if it was just something minor, like you get to be an extra in this movie or something like that, they would take the chance if they cared about that franchise. Like, tons and tons of people would take the chance to brag about being an extra in a Star Wars movie or something like that. Man, I never know if I should be going into these doors or not. Oh, no? Okay. What about this one? This level design is giving me some Kirby flashbacks where I'm not 100% sure where I am. Like, that's something that Mario levels are pretty good with, where you can have a pretty good sense of progression through the level. I feel like something that pretty much I thought I was locked out. Pretty much nowhere else really excels at, I don't think. Well, besides, actually, no, Sonic actually excels at it even more than Mario, because those levels are almost always very context-driven. And yeah, Ren and Stimpy is a super early example of like ugly media. It's probably like just the grandfather of that entire style. That's nice. The platform waits for you. Yeah, I know, like these enemies, for example, really just, they're super nothing and they're also kind of ugly. Like, actually, what it kind of reminds me of is the remake of, I'm assuming they're just enemies from the original game, but the remake of Mickey Mouse Castle of Illusion, which is it got delisted, but it's a game that I got on PlayStation Plus a long time ago. It's a long level. Like, in that game, super indistinct too. Like, it's ostensibly a Disney game, but the enemies and stuff are just weird, generic monster design 101 stuff. Like, this is a stump with angry eyebrows. Zingray, nice. Oh, Zingery, wait. I think Zingray made more sense. What's Zingery supposed to be? Alright, another B. 2 whole hit points. Wow, only 3 levels. This would be like 50, aren't there? That's like, this must be a big map. And I guess you get something to break that. I don't know, like this. Yeah, this seems interesting. Oh, is this where you can get your Platonics? Were they pretty useful? Alright, well, let's see what this is. I assume that's what all these feather things I've been collecting are for. Oh, there's a lot. Oh, you have to find them first. Okay. Oh, you have to buy them, but it just said to find them in the overworld. So do I have to find them and also then buy them, or do I buy them to unlock them? Yeah, this is another pretty ugly design, most. You'll have to buy them first with quills from chapters, but luckily this one is a freebie. Unlock that. Oh, quill multiplier. That'll be something, I guess. So I have to find it and then pay to unlock it, but then it's good to use forever? Because honestly, with it being a tonic, my first assumption is it's like a potion. You use it once and it's gone. But if they're just flat modifiers, that's nice. Kind of like whatever they're called, the god things in Bastion. Got super giant on the brain lately on account of them being a really good company. I literally bought Hades just to support them, and you guys should too. Laylee panics less. You know, going with the actual like fact that these are tonics, you can start to get implications on what this is actually doing. Was Banjo this bland? Like, I almost don't notice when Yooka is talking. Alright, well, honestly, like, I wish I could have... I wonder if I can check what these tonics actually do. I always like it when you get menus like this to actually... Oh, I can't even go to the menu? Man, I like seeing all the different abilities you can get eventually versus having to actually find them all first. But, you know, obviously, that's not something that always happens anyways. That sure is a buddy slam. Do I want to buy a hint? I do not want to buy a hint, probably. Alright, maybe I do. Yooka sounds really tired. He needs his rest, yeah. He had an entire mediocre game that was apparently very padded to sit through to get to here. He doesn't want to be a Banjo replacement. He just wants a quiet life. Okay, why does it tell me to do that? Do I get something? What's... Gotta say, the impact of this actually feels really good. Obviously, it's got a vibration, but just the way it hits. Okay, so, yeah, I'm supposed to reveal something, but... Where? Like, what cue am I looking for? Man, just having a bomb in, like, a bush is a lot less interesting than, like, when Zelda has bomb fruit or something. Alright, well, there's new tutorials, so I guess I missed it. Gotta find it. I'm sure this is very exciting to watch. No, but for real, where is it? What am I looking for? Is it the tonic? Is it the play tonic? Is it literally just the fact that I destroyed a fern to get like a quill? Is that it? Just slam every fern? Okay, well that's fern 2. Oh, wait, there's a third one. Was it literally just that quill? That's... That's not a very good secret. I want like a play tonic or something for the tutorial. Well, that's what I assume. There's no way it's for one quill, and yet... This is really bugging me now. Like I'm doing the definition of insanity and just doing the same thing over hoping to get something new, but like what's the deal? Then actually get something else but miss it? Like was it a super quill or something? Was it this? Wait. Was it this? Man! Okay. That was just me being really stupid. Alright, wait, where is it? Oh. Oh no. Oh no, there's so many. Oh, so it's very much like the red bricks in Lego Star Wars, actually, or Lego games in general, where you just some of the stuff is just random garbage. That's not a very big head. Oh, right, it's only in the actual levels. All right, so some of you eagle-eared viewers, you might have noticed